Okay, we're still on StreamYard, right?
Yeah, the YouTube. We're live now on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then you can go ahead and start the TikTok live. I can't do that through that through StreamYard, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Should I keep the headphones on?
Probably not, because then they can hear me. They can hear me talk. I don't know how loud I am there.
Yeah, I gotta get my my stupid Bluetooth speaker set up. They always unplug. Connect. This should work. Okay. Unplugged. Hang on.
Yep.
All aboard! Going live on TikTok. It's the Atheist Underground Psychological Emancipation Railway. It is 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, and we are live as usual every time this week. Thanks for joining No Name. Thanks for joining the Atheist Hub. He's our guy. He's here. Raccoon Whistle, Phantom Workshops. Thank you so much, guys. 12 Not Judge. Atheist Animated. He's our guy. Follow him on Atheist Animated if you haven't gotten there yet. They're awesome. Hello, Hub. Aren't you sweet? The Hub's always there for us. We love him. Car Wolf, thanks. There's my girl, crazy, non-crazy cat lady. Jay is with us. And if I see your icon on the top there, my Danish dumpling, I will make you a moderator. I don't see it there. I don't know if you have hit the number, maybe it'll all come up. Oh yeah, there it is. There you are. That's how we do that. No, that didn't work.
Non-crazy is on YouTube.
She's on YouTube too? Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, we are on YouTube by a StreamYard. Getting used to doing that. I don't know if that's going to hang on today. Last time it kicked us off in the middle, but it did work. Oh, I guess she's still a moderator from last. It says moderator, so maybe once you make someone a moderator, they stay a moderator. Once a moderator forever. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Thank you to our great fans. Thank you to all the followers, all the likes, and thanks to all those awesome trolls. You guys crack me up so fucking much. Got a hold of a couple of live ones just this afternoon. Jay, you put on producer Jay is with us, and you can probably hear him in the background when he pipes in on my speakers. But we put up a video with the hashtag Jesus is coming, which was obviously a Christian hashtag that those guys are all looking at. But he didn't put any like atheism or atheist TikTok hashtag. So I think like the only people that were going to see that video, in my mind, because I don't really know how it works, is all going to be Christians, man. And man, some of these people, they really drink the Kool-Aid, don't they? They like believe all of that bullshit that they found Jesus's DNA in his blood and all those stupid hoaxes. And there's somebody said there was archaeological evidence for Jesus. Archaeological evidence. Like, I'm willing to accept some of the bullshit half-ass evidence that people are like, that he existed, because, most people think he existed, and I'm not going to be the guy who's like, no, he absolutely didn't exist. But to try to pretend there's, like, archaeological evidence, like they dug up his fucking house or something, what a bonehead. And they just going and doubling down on it, man. Indoctrination is an ugly thing. And these people just want it to be true so bad, don't they? That kills me. How are we doing all right on the tubes?
Yeah, it looks like we're holding strong. I'm trying to see if I can where people on YouTube could see the questions going through.
Yeah, the Hub's right. All of them have been debunked here. I'm reading comments while we go here. Okay. Yeah. Thank God I'm on TikTok. Thank God is for sure. Yeah, more evidence than that of Lincoln. That was killing me. This guy said there was more evidence for God than there was of Lincoln. It must be all those photographs that we have of God that makes him say that. Who the fuck would say that? But that's one of those guys, man. I mean, and this dude was like completely fucking
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, he's completely serious and like convinced that we're just idiots and stupid for not being on board with all the incredible evidence of Jesus's realness. You know, going to the records of Pilate. Everyone knows that the Pilate letter was a complete fake. But anyway, in the science denial, what's with the science? I got taken to task again about denying. Somebody said that you can be a scientist, and I grew up this way. You could be a scientist and a Christian. I grew up. No one taught me that they were diametrically opposed, or they approached the meaning of life in different ways. But no one pretended to me that science wasn't real just because we happen to go to a Christian church. But this guy was saying that there are some scientists who are Christians. They're just not creationists, because we did a video on the creationist scientists and how stupid that is, because there are a few of those out there. But most scientists are not even theists anymore. Historically, yes, and a couple of people brought up, Galileo believed in God, and Newton believed in God. People that lived like 1,000 fucking years ago. We're talking about today. It's something like 7%, and that's still too high, I think, of scientists. So, to me, yeah, obviously there's some people in science who have a degree and they're smart people and they do well at their jobs, and they were indoctrinated, so they still believe. But I said that's not a very good scientist, and the guy told me that was a toxic philosophy, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're willing to give up at some point your search for the truth and give it up to the God of the gaps, then you're just not a great scientist. I don't know how else to couch that. And yeah, maybe there are some decent scientists who are Christians still, but I would rather my scientists not leave off their search for the truth where their indoctrination begins. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So I look forward to the day when there really aren't any scientists at all that give any credence to the old myths, the myths of our forefathers. It's just I can't get my head around it. Hello, my friend. Who's Stowe Pop? Is that a Cockney accent? He wrote, "Hello, Stowe Popwater, Stowy Popwater." What's Popwater? That's cool. Moon pie. I love a good moon pie. Where's my damn whistle? My flute, as a troll, one of the trolls likes to call it, a flute. Is this a flute to anybody? I guess I'm like the Pied Piper, right? I'm leading the children astray into the horrible world of atheism with my flute. I got this question in English class for a poem we read, Can Science and Religion Coexist? What question? Oh, you got this question for, can science and religion coexist? They used to be the same thing. At one point, religion was science. It was all the science we had, Jess Lynn is here. What's up, baby? HB Ohio. Welcome, everybody. What was I saying? I forget.
Science and religion, can they exist together?
Yeah, they were the same thing at some point, and then when scientific method took over, they started coming apart. And for a long time, you can't deny that Catholicism and other churches those were the bastions of learning, because the monks cared about learning what they could learn. And so if you wanted to get an education, you were generally involved in religion at some point in history. But as we get further along in the space-time continuum here, I feel like they're becoming more and more incompatible in terms of what we understand about the beginning of the universe and what they're finding out about the quantum mechanics and so forth, and it being able to someday explain how the Big Bang came about without, again, giving it up to God just because you didn't have any idea before, and people figured there must be a creator. So science and religion can coexist. They can coexist. Somebody made the point that they coexist in a parallel and they never really intersect anymore, because obviously science is a continuing search for answers, and as new evidence comes in, science adjusts, and so at some point you have to just say that's just something we don't know yet, and maybe science will figure it out someday. So I had a guy playing poker. I love poker. We played in a poker game. I made a comment about how it's 2021, man. What are we doing still believing in God, anybody? And one guy at the table was like, wow, what does that mean? I'm like, what do you think it means, man? It's 2021. Jesus is not coming back, and we don't need faith myths anymore to explain the universe. And he said, well, I don't know. I know a scientist who just, he says there's some things he can't explain. So I said, so you know a lazy scientist? That because he can't explain it, that means there must be a God? What kind of fucking thinking is that, man? What the hell's wrong with people? Was Jesus real? It's in some form. I give a lot of credence to the Christ myth theory people. Those are people without a pony in the race. They don't have a dog in the fight anymore. They're just looking for historical truth. And when you start from zero and look for evidence of Jesus, it's just you come up pretty fucking empty, other than second and third hand, mentions decades later. And there's a lot of those, so you got to give it something. But I'm like Deadpool. I'm like Captain Dadpool 86. I'm 50-50 on whether he even existed at all. It seems pretty easy to have created a myth out of whole cloth, and then 2,000 years later, everybody is just so indoctrinated to the idea that he was real that nobody even questions it, and there he is, real. That's not hard to get my head around. Yeah, Jess, 2,000 years is a long time to wait, and people have been saying he's coming back in my lifetime since he died. What is that? 20. That's 1,000 generations of people, basically. Yeah, if you can't explain something, you can't give it a title. So saying God did it is nonsense. That's exactly right. Team Scherfeld, welcome. And no one can define God because we have nothing to compare it to. That's the other thing. We'll do a topic. Somebody asked about atheism, and I'll get around to doing a video on atheism. I didn't know what that was, but I looked it up, and it makes utter sense. I think it's a portmanteau of the word ignorance and theism. So igtheism being that the concept is something that we can't really discuss because there's no starting point. It's just an esoteric idea that came from the mind of man, and to try to define the nature of it is foolishness. So yeah, Jesus could have been a cult leader. He could have been just a gay party boy with his 12 friends, going out on a Friday night to the dance club, throwing down to some Roxy music. But who the hell knows? I think that's a common idea to cast him as a cult leader, or just a sect of Judaism, as someone who is dissatisfied with the corruption of the Jewish establishment of the day, which, if you're to believe any of that stuff, that's probably part of the most believable part of what the New Testament has to say about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and people trying to protect their position in society at the top of the food chain in Jewish society. In and around the first century, in the first century BC, but that happens in every power structure, right? Every government, religion, industry, whatever it is. If you're at the top, you want to stay there, and so you become corrupt, and you do what you can to keep yourself there, and that's again counter to fundamental Judaism, and so Jesus railed against it, So yeah, cult leader, sect leader, wandering ascetic, crazy person in the wilderness, homeless guy, preaching good news and relying on the charity of people who let him in their house for the night. Da Vinci's depiction of Jesus was actually his gay lover. I've heard that. I've heard that Borgia, the Borgia Pope, used his son Caesar Borgia as a model for Michelangelo and others who were doing all that Renaissance art that revolved around our Lord and Savior. And so then we have white European Jesus. I got out of religion 2 years ago after realizing it makes people feel humble. That's cool, man. No one wants to feel humble. Crux 152. Welcome to the chat, boy. That's awesome. Mary. I don't remember how it's spelled. What? The whole Puzzler, welcome. Ray Sussman, welcome. What you got, Jay? Anything? You there? You still there?
How to do so people can read the comments on YouTube. So
okay. I must have clicked you by mistake because you disappeared from the stream for a second, and it said add to the stream, and I added you back. But now I got Atheist Animated up there twice, so I don't know what that's about. You there?
Yeah.
That's weird. Anyway,
I think you did that. Here, let me do this.
Yeah, I don't know. It just keeps on going away on its own.
Yeah, no, I did that.
Oh, all right. Do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, it'll take me a second. I'll figure it out.
That's cool. So I'm on the TikTok here, and here we got StreamYard trying to do YouTube. Go to our bio and click the YouTube arrow, everybody, if you haven't done it, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And I don't care if you watch on YouTube because you're watching on TikTok, but we need to get to 1,000 subscribers on the tubes, man, so that we can do some funky stuff live with our phones out on the street.
There's not a link on the profile right now.
I put it there, bro.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's on there. Our girl, the Danish dumpling, told us to do that, and I did it.
Okay.
And it worked. She's like been a great help with that stuff. There's like so many cool Danish people on TikTok and on that watch the videos too. I had no idea. There's like 8 people in the country, and and they're all atheists and they're all on TikTok. Why do Christians certain theirs is the correct? Yeah, well, that's just part of Christian exceptionalism. Part of that comes from the idea that Jesus came for everyone in the whole world. Universalism is something that was new to religion at the time. Back in the day, other religions were for them, and your religion was for you, and you didn't pretend that your God and your Savior was meant to save other cultures. Those people had their own gods and their own cultures, but the mandate that Christians have to spread the good news makes them feel that Christ came for everybody, whether you've heard of him yet or not. And it's their mission to go out and change the whole world to believe that their God is the right one. So that adds to, their sense of entitlement and privilege. But you there? You sound like you.
Yep. Sorry about that. I got.
Oh, that's all right. No. But yeah, I mean, Christians, that everybody thinks that their religion is the right one these days. But I don't think it was like that a long time ago. People had real respect for other religions and figured that the gods that you worshipped in Norway were just as real to you as the gods that the Mesopotamians might have worshipped, at some point. And if you worshipped them, they were real, and they were going to take you home to them when you died. Do we exist by accident? Yeah, if you want to call it an accident, yeah, we exist by lucky coincidence of our, the way that our planet ended up lining up in a solar system with a nice, friendly yellow sun, and we've got a window of time where this Earth is in a position, where it can support life, and that window of time has been long enough to evolve life to the state that we're at now, which is half brilliant and half fucking stupid and completely diluted by ancient faith systems and mythologies. How old were you when you reached enlightenment? Yeah, I haven't yet. Me and the Buddha. I'm still searching for enlightenment, my friend. But yeah, thanks. Now I was 17 or so, or 18 when I kind of left Christianity, and a couple more years till I was a full-on atheist. Spanish Inquisition didn't just spread religion violently, but originated the racism here today. Okay, could be. That sounds like a big topic. Spanish Inquisition, yeah, the Spanish Catholic Church did a lot of ugly things when Spain was the global superpower. Before the British fleet sent their Spanish Armada to the bottom of the ocean, my friend, thereby ending Spanish domination of colonial Europe and beyond. We have one openly atheist representative now in the U.S. government. I forget his name. I should get that so we can shout out a little bit more to him. Whoever you are, buddy, I'm just too old to remember names all the time. But we do have one. Not surprisingly, he's from a liberal area. But yeah, limpieza, una limpieza, cleanliness, a cleaning, the idea of pure blood. Yeah, limpieza, yeah, the Spanish Inquisition. That's Team Scherfeld weighing in. We need more people thinking your way. Thanks, man. Russell Goldstein or Goldstein. Thanks for that, Russ. Are you an atheistic Jew with a name like that? Is that what's up there? We get a lot of the Jewish video got a lot of it was mostly sarcastic because I don't got a lot of bad things to say about Jews. So I had to make up a couple of snarky things to say. But I get about, most people who came out of Judaism were pretty cool with it. But a couple of them were like, this is so annoying. You're so annoying, this video. It's just so annoying. Really? As annoying as you? I don't know. Thank you, Brett. We enjoy having you on board. Thanks for saying that. He enjoys our videos. Yeah. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Other Holy Grail reference, right? Love Monty Python. What do I think about dress codes in Christian schools? I guess that probably is. That's probably in the question thing. I should hit that because I'm the only one on TikTok. Yeah, schools finished it. Stowe Popwater. I don't know much, I don't step foot in Christian schools, but what do they have, like the Catholic uniforms you're talking about? I don't know. They're creepy. Aren't they like, I don't know, Christians are like overly obsessed with the way that school kids dress. We had a guy ended up getting fired from the high school my daughter was at, because he was like obsessed with girls, the height of girls' skirts or the low cutness of their tops. He kept on bringing it up, man. This is a guy who like tried to teach history by saying that divine intervention was a thing in history, and he should have got fired for that, in my book, but he did end up getting fired because he was a creep on the girls. Public schools in Texas have uniforms. Yeehaw! What are they, like a pair of chaps and some stirrups and a 10-gallon hat and a pin on your forehead that says "I'm stupid"? Yeah, fuck Texas and fuck Texas schools, man. Those people are fucking half-wits, man. God, I hate Texas. They need to fix their shit bad. They're fucking embarrassing us in front of the whole world with their shit. Putting Moses in the textbooks, pretending that the country is founded on the 10 Commandments of all stupid shit. Yeah, religion will eventually die out. That's true. Canoe Coconut 505. Canoe Coconut. Yeah, sooner or later, I don't think I'm gonna live to see it, but yeah, sooner or later. Boys can't have earrings or long hair. Yeah, we don't want that faggotry going on in school. Yeah, boys with earrings. What the hell's that about, man? I saw MTV and crazy ass homosexuals touching on each other. What the hell, man? Long hair was a thing in the 70s. I had to wear a swim cap in the swimming pool because I had like a Beatles haircut when I had hair back in the day, at my grandma's pool where she lived. So I don't know what the long hair thing is about. I mean, dudes have had Jesus had long hair, for fuck's sake. What kind of fucking rule is that? Or the picture that everyone realizes is, that everyone recognizes as Jesus has long hair. European Jesus has long hair. He probably had like a really like a big Palestinian Jew fro, don't you think? I really wish we did have a picture of what Jesus probably actually looked like. That'd be funny. No home, one robe, smelly, dirty. Do the choo-choo for me, please. Shine down, King. You get 3 toots. Shine down, King. Thanks for joining. We love you so much. Lana Nina, the first thing kids do when they get out of school, they lose their shirt. When they get out of school, they lose their shirt? Oh, they lose their shit when they get out of school. I'm not sure what that means, baby. Like the girls can't wear long jeans. What? If we get more information about aliens, do you think they'll wake up the religious types? Yeah, I mean, if aliens showed up, it would blow out the creationists who think that like God made this perfect planet for us and put us here like perfect little pets in his terrarium. But I think that like a lot of Christians would just be like, all right, well, aliens, they need to respect God too. They'd be like, hey, have you heard about Jesus? Can I witness to you about Jesus Christ? Then they come up to an alien and pull out his ray gun and be like, fucking freeze, get rid of that motherfucker right away. But I think a lot of Christians. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the Pope. Well, I know the Catholics have already like set up. They literally have said if they find other life, it's God, basically already. So I mean, some of the religions are already prepping for that situation.
That it is God?
Yeah, he said if they find any intelligent or any life at all in space, God did it. I have to look up the specifics, but
that would make sense. I mean, if you're a Christian who believes in the Big Bang or understands geological age and then aliens come from another planet, I would think that those people would just be like, well, those are just more of God's children, and they would go up and try to proselytize to them, of all things. Yeah, because you were able to get here from another galaxy, or another star system, at light speed or whatever you had to do to get here. You're still going to believe in a creator God? Give me a break. Yeah, Jesus was. I'm sure he did look Middle Eastern if he was real. Dye hair. Thanks for the rose. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's our girl, the non-crazy cat lady, sending roses.
Here's
Red roses for a bald atheist. What, bud?
Here's a funny quote. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It says, Vatican astronomer says if aliens exist, they may not need redemption. meaning they
Why?
don't necessarily need Jesus, I guess, because they don't know. It says, he said, if aliens' life, Jesuit father Jose Funes, director of the Vatican Observatory, said Christians should consider alien life as an extraterrestrial brother and a part of God's creation.
Yeah,
and then
there you
said
go.
basically they might not need Jesus, they might not need redemption.
Oh, yeah, maybe God sent like his bastard son to that planet, or his daughter, his firstborn daughter, to die for them. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Catholicism's always, they're ready. In that way, they're always ready. They're ready to accept science and move on so that they can survive. Because I think smart religions have an idea that if you don't accept reality, sooner or later you are going to die as a religion. And I think the Catholic Church does not want to die as a religion. That's a big business they got going on there, and they don't want to have people quitting on them like they're quitting on the evangelicals and on the mainline Protestants because they just don't need it anymore. It's too big of a business, too big to fail. Yeah, religious. Yeah, no, I love Bill Maher. I love religious. Got a little shitty at the end. Thanks, Brett Bain, for asking that question. I think it went on a little too long. Could have wrapped it up, but yeah, no, I love all that shit. Religious, very, very good, very funny. God had 20 million kids as disciples. I don't know what that means, Crux. Chromatic blue reggae. Shout out to Chromatic Blue Reggae. Thanks. Sam Forsyth 3. Thank you for joining, Sam. If they think that I'm missing it, I missed the thread. Hi, Chromatic. What else you got, Jay?
People would deem this has to do with people would deem about 1 foot shorter on average, and Jesus, someone's just saying basically Jesus would be shorter, which was actually
true.
Yeah, there was a Family Guy joke about that, where Jesus came back and he was really short, and basically people were making fun of him.
Like Ted Neely and Jesus Christ Superstar. That cat's still out there doing it. He's like 75 and he's still out there in like touring groups of Jesus Christ Superstar. What a great show that was, man. That was when Andrew Lloyd Webber wasn't obnoxious, as a young songwriter and a young playwright, operetta writer, I guess, musical theater guy. I love Jesus Christ Superstar. What a great freaking show that is. And that dude's like a midget, man. He's like 5'2", and I'm small, so I can make fun of short people, but he's a little bitty thing, just a little bitty thing. So maybe he did look like European Jesus, though. He didn't look much like a Palestinian. When do I think churches will be taxed? I don't know. When the government wakes up and they can realize they can make a butt fuckload of money off of it, they might finally do it. But it's again, it's got to be the churches that actually make money. You can't tax the shit little hole in the wall mountain churches where 5 people get together and give their pennies to keep the pastor and cat food that week. They're not making any money, those churches, and unless they're openly stumping for a political candidate, then they violate the rules of a nonprofit and they should be taxed. Somebody had to create us. Okay, yeah, somebody had. Your existence proves that you have a creator. What? Okay, again, people who just want it to be true so bad, they will twist all kinds of things into evidence, and they will justify all kinds of contradictions and stuff that doesn't make sense. They got a reason for it. Somebody said, they'll say on one hand, let's say that the universe is so perfect it must have had a creator, and then they'll turn around and say God is so perfect that he must not have had a creator. Well, which is it? Squib cakes. Squib cakes. Thanks for joining. I love that word, squib. Squib.
Real quick, can people tell me if they can see me or not see me? Can you hear me on TikTok?
Yeah, he's on my speakers in the background. Can you hear Jay on TikTok, or is it just you're in Texas? DMAC 928. Much love to you, DMAC. Put on a fucking helmet, keep your head down, and good luck, man. Texas is going ape shit down there. Thank you, Brett. We can hear him.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So they can hear you loud and clear. It says 15 Anteros. Anteros. Marvin T. Carr, thanks for joining, buddy. Kinsey Huck, thanks for joining.
We did get a question. Were you agnostic before you were atheist?
Nah, not really. I was like spiritual for a minute in college. I would say the way people use that word, and maybe Unitarian for a minute. I think those were the two stops I made. Unitarian first, where I realized that Christian dogma was just obvious monkey scat and complete and utter bullshit. And anyone who can like look at that story and think that it could possibly apply to reality is disturbed beyond belief. We're just indoctrinated to the point where they cannot question it anymore. So I stopped at Unitarianism, figuring maybe there was a God somewhere, but he didn't really interact with us. But hey, respect for making the world. And then I just moved on to kind of thinking that maybe we're all God, or we have some divinity in us that we can figure out and find ourselves, to just giving it up altogether. I never called myself an agnostic. No. Hey, it's my favorite atheist. It's probably just Steven. Thanks for joining, Steve-O. Jay Rogers, 2323, thank you for joining. Thanks to everybody for hanging out on a Wednesday night. Remember to find us on YouTube. We're doing StreamYard, and I see the comments are working as I look, right, Jay?
For your, you're talking about on your YouTube?
On StreamYard or on YouTube, but I don't know how.
Oh, yeah, you can see them on StreamYard. That's right, because we're using it. We're doing it different than we did last time.
Yeah. It's mostly non-crazy cat lady.
Yeah, I put stuff in from the TikTok questions so I can find them later. So the one right now is, are you familiar with theory of multidimensional reality? And I guess maybe your thoughts on that.
Multidimensional reality, on how the universe, is that the same thing on the universe being a simulation? I mean,
no. Well, those are two things. They mentioned the universe and the simulation, but just multidimensional,
is that like the multiverse?
Yeah, multiverse. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not real familiar on the details of the theory. I'm obviously familiar that it's a thing right now, and it's interesting. I think that we used to think of it as like subspace. I think where if you can just kind of cross over into that other universe, it might explain a lot of things like deja vu, but I find all that crap interesting. Haven't had the time to really look into the details of it, so it's hard for me to discuss it eloquently at all. And the whole simulation thing, I don't know. If it's a simulation, what difference does it make? We're all living in the reality we're living in. So if it's a simulation, it's a fucking good one. I'll tell you that. And I got no issue with it. So to me, that's just something else I don't have time to think about. And there's no evidence for it. It's just another silly trend, I think. How can I explain to someone that I dislike their ideology, but I don't hate every... Oh, how can I explain to someone that I dislike their ideology, but I don't hate every believer? Hey, man, they say it all the time. Hate the sin, love the sinner, right? Try that one on them, we deal with that all the time. There's a lot of good people that are believers, and it makes you scratch your head, but they're good people, and they don't do you any harm, and if they don't get in your face and don't try to indoctrinate your kids, and they don't knock on your door giving you Bibles, then I'm cool with them believing what they want to believe. But I think that's the best way to explain it. It's like, listen, man, you're my friend. I don't dislike you. You're cool, but your belief system is an intellectual embarrassment that drags down society. So, maybe you can make it sound less insulting than I do, but I think it can be done. I got plenty of friends who are believers, and sometimes you just don't talk about it. Love the sinner, hate the sin is not in the Bible. It's not, but that's their way of being like, God is not pleased with your lifestyle because you shouldn't put penises where feces comes out, and it's just not making God happy. But we don't hate you. We don't hate you. We hate the sin. Love the sinner, hate the sin, because we love the sinner because we're trying to save him. We want that sinner to go to heaven and have eternal life in Jesus and be happy. So that's not hate. So yeah, again, it's just bullshit. But I think it could apply if you're trying to say to someone that you dislike their ideology. Doesn't mean you hate them. Do you like talking about other topics other than religion? Yeah, I'm a foodie. I'm a movie guy. I do have a lot of interests. This ends up taking a lot of our time up because it's important to me. The activism is exceedingly important. I was thinking for a long time how to give back. Thanks for the money bags, hats for ducks. That's a funny thing. I saw that video. That's cute. the Hats for Ducks thing. She put me in it. I'm assuming it's a girl. I don't know why. But toot for Hats for Ducks in the money bags. And check out if it's on Hats for Ducks page, you can see a video where they put hats on the people who they've stitched with, and it just cracks me up. Hats for Ducks, man. Thoughts on humanism? Yeah, I love humanism. I mean, humanism is the only way to live our lives. If you got to give life a purpose, that's a common theme again with the Christians, or the atheists. Really, if there's no God, then what's the purpose? What's the purpose of life? Why does life have to have a purpose? We're just another animal on the planet. We're born to reproduce and keep our species going. That's really the only purpose that nature has for us. We only search for purpose because our brains have become so evolved. So as long as you're looking for purpose, it may as well be humanism. Try to help out your fellow man. Try to solve human problems with human solutions, because that's all we have. Even if other people are trying to with prayer, that doesn't work anyway. So anything that actually does get done is because humans did it. So the philosophy of humanism is is the right one to live by, unless you're going to be a hermit and one of these atheists who'd rather just be left alone and an anarchist and doesn't want to do anything for anybody. And that's their right. But I think humanism is cool.
Someone
I
want
was
to know
told
what
George Washington existed. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we have paintings, pictures, biographies, autobiographies, writings. We have a lot of evidence that I never got that, that whole bit. You can't prove that George Washington existed. Okay. What type of music I like? I like most kinds of music. I don't really like metal, and I don't like pop country. But most other kinds of music, I came up in the new wave movement of the post-punk era of the late '70s. Loved me some Boomtown Rats and some Jam. The Jam's a great band. If you haven't listened to the Jam, go find old Jam. Paul Weller's a genius. The Clash, Elvis Costello, 999, XTC, back in when they were new and when they weren't so poppy. That's the music I came out of. And as I've gotten older, I've really learned to appreciate a wide range of music. So, metal just doesn't touch me. No, sorry, man. It's just it's a little bit too three-chordy, simplistic for me. But I've heard some metal that I dig. I mean, I love Freak Like Me, one of my favorite songs, actually. Hailstorm? Is that Margie Hale's song? I love Freak Like Me. I feel like that song speaks to me. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and also that which can be asserted with no evidence can be dismissed with no evidence. Hitchens, right? If I could teleport, where would I go? Denmark. I don't know. I'd go all around the country, all around the world to places I haven't seen. I love to travel, and I don't get to do enough of it anymore. But I might go to Australia first. I might go to Amsterdam. Yeah. Might go to Norway. Might go to Scotland again. I love Scotland. What a gorgeous place. Try Jesus' birthplace. Plenty of evidence if you do your research. What atheists lack is faith. Now, I have a lot of faith. I have faith in humanity. I have faith that the people who are experts in their field are going to keep on discovering great things about the reality of the universe. I have a lot of faith. I just don't have faith in mythologies. I don't have faith in things for which there is no evidence at all, and which again are an intellectual embarrassment. Jesus' birthplace, that shit's all made up, man. Even if he was real, they don't know where he was born. The idea that the Romans would have sent Mary and Joseph back to their hometown to take the census is ludicrous. The Romans would never have created a logistical nightmare by having everybody in their empire go back to where they were born to be counted. That's stupid beyond imagination. It would never have happened. If they actually wanted to take a census, they would have just left you where you were and, where do you live? I live today in Damascus. Here I am. I live in, I live in this obscure town in Gaul, and here's my job, and here's what I do. Nobody traveled back to their hometown for a census. It's retarded. Yeah, Richard Carrier. I've partied with Richard Carrier. He's a blast. I call him the little dick of atheism. The big dick is Big Dick Dawkins, and he's been proven himself to be a big dick lately. But little Dick Carrier, he's a little bitty guy. He's smaller than me, and he's a blast. He's absolute blast. Fun at parties. He plays a hell of a Mario Kart, and he tells stories, and he gets a little scotch in him. He'll tell you stories from the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary, stuff you don't get to read because they left it out of the Bible. You get to read it if you look for it, but yeah, he's a blast, and he is a Christ mythicist and one of the leading ones, and he knows his shit, and he'll debate you about it, and he'll smoke you. So all these creationists are like, "Yeah, come and debate me." That's not my bit. I'm not I know a lot about religion, but I'm not a theologian, and I'm not a seminarian, and I'm not a biblical historian like these guys are. Robert Price, Bart Ehrman, or atheists who are not necessarily all Christ mythicists, but people who are in it without an axe to grind. Historically historians, who look at that stuff are Christians and Jews, and they were just as indoctrinated as the rest of us, and they assume that Jesus must have existed in some form, and so that's it's confirmation bias. But more and more, look at the works of Acharya S. D.M. Murdoch is her name. Her last book before she died was Moses. The myth of the Jewish lawgiver. Did Moses exist? Look at that one, and we pretty much know that Moses didn't exist. Drinking seltzers because I gave up sugary drinks. The end was insights to create fear and nothing else. It is funny how long you've heard the end is coming. Yeah, well, the end probably is coming 4 billion years off in the future when the sun goes supernova on us and envelops the earth or comes close and crispifies it. So yeah, the end is coming, but yeah. Someone asked me, what prophecies haven't come true in the Bible? And I couldn't think of many offhand, except for the whole book of Revelation. Have you read that thing? Angels and horses and stuff. And it's like, this is how it's gonna happen. If it happens, I don't think so, man. What a trip. Silly. Yeah, the book says he existed. The claim cannot also be the evidence. That is true. Team Sherfield, what's your story? Pretty smart. A supernova, I believe, but not God. Yeah, exactly. Thousands of religions have texts. They all have texts, and they all think that they're right. Thanks for coming back, Stowe Popwater.
Here, I got a few that you missed. You got
yeah, go.
If we don't have a creator, then where did the first humans come from? This one came from a while ago.
What did you miss science class? I mean, the first humans evolved from a common primate ancestor with other primates, millions of years ago, and they're discovering more and more all the time about the links in between. People who deny evolution because we don't have all the evidence, but yet they go to God for which there is no evidence. So it's like, which one are you gonna believe? We understand how life evolved on the planet. It evolved, from simple chemicals which are abundant in the universe, and they happen to get to a place that exhibited the right conditions over billions of years it took for these chemicals to change into other chemicals and compounds and amino acids and simple proteins and all the building blocks of life, and on up through simple life forms. The people who study this can explain the process much better than I can, and it's compelling when you listen to how they know how eyes evolved, and they know how primates left the trees at some point to get on the savannah, which freed up your hands. You didn't need your hands to hang onto the trees anymore as much, and you could start doing things with your opposable thumb. All of this stuff has been recorded through fossils and other evidence. So it's not, evolution is not a thing to be questioned, really. It's just a thing to be filled in with more and more details. We know beyond question that it happened. So if we don't have a creator, we know how humans came about. We certainly didn't come about from two people who only had sons. I mean, how stupid do you have to be?
Here, Atheist Hub just jumped off, but he asked before, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food, probably a nice Indian curry, or sushi. It's a toss-up, I think, between good fresh sushi, crab. I love crab, like crazy. If I could stick with forever. You there? You back?
Yeah, looks like we're back.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird. It tells me I have no connection, and my internet's right there. I don't really get why that happens. Yeah, froze on YouTube. Thanks. Sorry about that. And thanks for joining on YouTube. Everybody who's watching on YouTube. Don't mean to ignore you. You're in that camera. TikTok's over here. And like I say, I tend to forget that the camera is not the screen on TikTok, so forgive me for that. But I am trying to read, which is down below. So I hate every religion, but I can accept Buddhism as one. Yeah, you know, if you knew everything about Buddhists, you'd probably hate them too. But the philosophy is much smarter than the Abrahamic faith. Yeah, it's weird.
Go ahead. Somebody asked what your favorite news source was.
Oh man, I have trouble with the news anymore, man. They all suck here. I try to get on Twitter and dig into, you know, I don't know, BuzzFeed and places where you feel like there's real young skeptical journalists actually trying to do their job. But I can't even watch any of them anymore. CNN is leftist propaganda, or at least reaction to the right, and not real news anymore. I don't think they're actively lying to you like Fox is, but CNN sucks compared to what it used to be. And even the BBC people, I used to like to watch the BBC because at least you get news, you know, from other places instead of just the same old droning bullshit that you get here in America. But now people say the BBC sucks. So, you know, you just got to try to look at as much as you can, I think, and use your brain to deduce who might not be, you know, who might not have an agenda and is actually just trying to report out there. It's real tough anymore with the news.
Somebody asked your thoughts on Nicaea Council 325 AD.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that was Constantine's effort to make sure that everybody knew that Jesus was divine. Really, is what he wanted to do. There was what was his name? There was a guy. Again, my old brain escapes me, but an important early priest, you know, was going around preaching that. Arian was preaching that Jesus was just a man with a message. It wasn't divine, and that was, you know, already, you know, rubbing people the wrong way. But that was probably a pretty common thought early on in Christianity, and you know, Constantine got together the Council of Nicaea and invited every damn priest, bishop, and archbishop and cardinal from around the world that he could find, and basically, you know, hammered out what the rules were going to be for the church, that everybody else, you know, that wasn't one of those sacerdotes, the sheeple, you know, what those people would have to believe as official church doctrine. So the Council of Nicaea, to me, is proof that Christianity, at least, is man-made. And they decided what you should believe, and it's all kind of gone from there. And they had, you know, more councils after that to hammer out other details. But yeah, you know, the first obvious evidence that religion is to control people, and that's pretty much why it exists.
Team Sharefield said, it's just weird to me that the Abrahamic faiths are much younger than many.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. And the fact that they're newer is why that they resonated with, you know, Western culture, because that's the religion that Rome chose. And it was one of the fashionable cults of the day. Constantine, you know, as someone pointed out, it was way more complicated, obviously, but he adopted Christianity. And again, it's easier to control people with a monotheistic belief than it is with polytheism, because, you know, it's easier to point to one ruler and one rule than it is to try to corral people who might be worshiping Apollo, who might be worshiping Athena, who might be worshiping Diana, who might be worshiping Hades. You know, then you get infighting. But if you can make all the people believe that one God did it, it's a lot easier. So, you know, monotheism, you know, ended up taking over from polytheism, and Christianity, for whatever reason, ended up being the religion that Constantine chose. And, you know, the luck of the draw after that was the religion that went with the people who won the wars, and manifest destiny, and God is on our side because we're able to smash down, you know, the tribes in Gaul with our, you know, banner of Christ before us. So, you know, Christianity became the dominant religion of the West. And if it had to been something else, we'd all be worshiping Mithras, you know, instead of, or we would have all been indoctrinated into a different different God figure than Jesus. That's just the way it is. But because they were newer is why they came out on top. I think people were always looking for a newer, better story, just like in Hollywood, based on older myths, but a newer, better version.
Okay, Glackla wants to, I don't know if I pronounced that right. 26. Do atheists believe in things like ghosts or Bigfoot?
I don't know what atheists believe. I'm only one. Atheists believe a lot of stupid shit. My ex-wife's an atheist, and she believes all that conspiracy theory shit that's going on about the coronavirus, and I don't think she's quite the QAnon, but so atheists aren't completely immune to believing stupid shit. But no, in general, atheists don't believe in ghosts. I mean, we don't believe that people have a soul. That would be a supernatural claim for which there's no evidence, and the soul is just a concept that we came up to describe the complexity of our personalities and our minds, and the feeling that we have that we're connected to something greater than ourselves, and the wish and the want that we have for this to go on. If we're going to go on, you clearly can't put going on your body, because your body dies. The Egyptians tried it. That's what mummifying was about, right? That you were going to need that body in the afterlife. But again, that would require the soul reclaiming that body, because clearly when you die, there's nothing there anymore. And people who believed in religion knew that your body didn't go to heaven. So that if you were going to have an afterlife, it had to be your spirit. So Costello, you're dating yourself, the Matt in the Hat. Honey, I'm Comb. I love the names, man. You people are clever. You're clever. Honey, I'm Comb. Thanks for joining. Cyrod80, thanks for joining. Cyrodder. Of UPAs, the Pentagon is going to, what's a UPA? That's
UFOs, I think is evidence of UFOs, I think.
Oh, well, it says UPAs. Maybe it's a typo. Oh, UAP. Still don't know.
Is that under
assumed personality?
Oh, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh. They're going to declassify a lot of that stuff.
I've heard that. I haven't really followed. I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah, somebody else was saying, what about the recent evidence of aliens? And I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. The Netherlands.
Yeah, it says June 1st is what somebody commented.
Aerial. Oh, on June 1st? It'll be fun to see that shit, I think a lot of that shit is just probably, again, stuff that happened that no one, they can't identify. It doesn't mean it's an alien. Our girl had one, a picture of something in the sky over Denmark, right? It looked like a Pac-Man ghost. Am I leftist? No, I'm not really. I'm not terribly leftist. If you can't tell, I'm not very PC. You can't be leftist without being PC. Terrible Tigga.
Here's a question from earlier. Have you seen? What do you think? Or yeah, because I know you've seen the show *Handmaid's Tale*. What do you think of the show?
Yeah, it's on tonight. I love *Handmaid's Tale*. It's a great show. It's just so well produced that it doesn't even matter what it's about. I love quality TV and mostly dramas, because comedies just have sort of lost their glow, I think, a little bit. Comedies seem to have a hard time breaking new ground. And when there's a new, fun, really different comedy, then I'm all about it. But I don't see a lot of those come down the pike. So I really like to get into the best of TV dramas. HBO is brilliant, and most of the stuff that they come up with is fucking fantastic. But *Handmaid's Tale* is a frightening vision of a dystopian future where Christian nationalists have taken over America, named it Gilead, and implemented really the Christian version of Sharia law, where everything is biblical based and women have no property and no rights, and they forfeit their money and they have to listen to their husbands, and it all comes about because America loses its fertility. Women are stopped. There's no children being produced for whatever reason, and I think the fundamentalists think that it's a punishment from God, and if they go back to to biblical fundamentalism and living and creating a society that way, they'll please God and they'll start having babies again. But the way they do that is that they take the actual fertile women and make them sex slaves, and just have babies through them. So, but there's people who really want us to be like that, and that's what we're fighting. We're fighting people who are trying to get the government to be a Christian theocracy in America. And I don't quite think that'll ever happen because those people are dying. They're going away. The evangelicals are loud, but they're dwindling because their kids hate them. They fucking hate them. Why are conservatives so obsessed with guns and war? Is it their book? What book? They can't read. America's always been a violent culture, and that's the way it was founded and settled. It's not too surprising that guns are still a big part of the country here, but the fact that people justify that with Christianity kills me. How is that? I drive by a sign that says God, guns, and Trump. That's what it says on the sign, and it's a thing. There's signs all over the country like mushrooms that say that. And it's how stupid do you have to be brought up in a church that teaches you turn. It was the first thing we learned about Christianity. The first thing my parents taught me about Jesus was Jesus said, turn the other cheek. If someone is being an asshole to you, you don't be an asshole back. You love them anyway. That's Christian teaching. So how do guns fit into that in terms of, violence against others? I know, guns for hunting and guns for target shooting. It's fine. I love guns. I have guns. But this obsession with God and guns, the Bible in one hand and guns in the other, it's a sick, stupid contradiction. It needs to go away. Jesus welcomes immigration. Yeah, I hope so. Oh, he wouldn't immigrate here if he could. He'd have PTSD from all the crosses. Everybody who came up to him and had like murder weapon on their chest. Had you heard about? Oh, you are Jesus. You have heard of Jesus. Oh, let me touch your robe. No, he'd run screaming for the hills.
I have to jump off in 3 minutes. Are you going to stick around after?
Yeah, it's already 9 o'clock. It goes so fast, doesn't it, man? It goes by fast. I'll stick around for a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do a quick lightning round, and then when I jump off, you can take more questions?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to hit me?
Yeah. So, let's do. If you have a question, put it in the comments. Whether you're on YouTube or on TikTok, make sure you put a question mark because that's kind of how I'm figuring out which ones are questions or not. So if I don't see a question mark, I'll assume it's a comment.
I'll look at mine. I'll start with one here. Have you seen The Dark Knight? Yes, love The Dark Knight.
Oh, see, I didn't even see that. So
it's on TikTok on the Q&As.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that I'm the only one who can see that, so I'm looking at it now.
Why don't you hit up those first while I organize these?
I think I actually got most of them because I see them when they go by the scroll. I've been pretty good at that. Exist by accident. What do you think about dress codes in Christian schools? The religious. When do you think churches will be taxed? What is your opinion about the thought that Christianity made millions of lives bad in the Middle Ages? Yeah, the Middle Ages was called the Dark Ages. A lot of it for a reason, and that was because religion ruled it. So, I think it's no secret that really shitty things have been done in the name of religion and Christianity for a long time, and we need to take a lesson from the Dark Ages and never go back there. The Enlightenment. What happened to that? Go ahead.
All right, here we go. If it's proven that aliens are real, will you believe in it? That might assume it means.
Will I believe in it if it's proven they're real? Well, yeah. I mean, if they're proved to be real, of course I'll believe in it. I don't have a problem with aliens.
What do you think of Matt Dillahunty?
I love Dillahunty. I've met him. I've talked to him. He's a super, super sharp guy. Really succinct. Really, really intelligent. And I agree with most of the things he says. Love Dillahunty. And he's got really nice hair. There's Dillahunty.
Thoughts on... I just moved. Thoughts on Boulder Locomotive Museum?
Never been to the Boulder City Locomotive Museum. I'd love to go. What's the best kind of Thanksgiving pie? I got one. What's the best kind of Thanksgiving pie? Lemon meringue. How's that for an offbeat answer? I'm a cherry pie guy, though. I love cherry pie.
Do you think that there's any chance that, I guess it's a little worded weird, there's a chance there's like a God exists whether they know it or not? Chance that a being like a God exists whether they know it or not?
Whether they're known or not.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a chance. It's just the least plausible chance. There's obviously there's a chance. You gotta give it up to the possibility. But as top scientists explain, it's the least plausible answer, and therefore the one least worthy of consideration. Somebody asked, how do you get better at confronting religious family members? They know I'm an atheist, but if they know you're an atheist, why confront them? I mean, if they're in your face about something, then just stand up to them. If they're trying to bug you, stand your ground, man. I've had to do it, and there's a lot of times it's not comfortable, but you can't let them push you around. So, trust your brain, man. Go ahead.
I think that was the last one.
That was the last one. All right.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to jump off. Actually, I don't know how.
All right, man. Thanks. Join follow Atheist Animated on TikTok if you haven't yet, and we'll see you Sunday, Jay.
All right. So I have to end the YouTube stream. So if you want to restart one, you'd have to do that separately.
Oh, yeah. All right. Bye, YouTube. I'm not worried about that. I'll stick it out here for another 15 minutes or so on TikTok. Thanks, Skyflyings, for following. Pecan pie. Yeah, a little sweet, a little rich, but I do like pecan pie. I got to take small slices of pecan pie. Matt Schaefer. Thanks, Matt, for joining.